Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We want you to sit back tonight and listen to this video. Please do share it with each and every one that you come in contact with, your friends. And this is vital for you, for your sons and daughters and friends that's not saved. They will come to know the Lord, and this video will explain to them who the Antichrist and the false prophet is. Look, it's not like people say you cannot know them. They are on the scene. They are at work. They are at work behind it. The only thing, they haven't got consent to rule as per se yet. Are they doing their stuff behind the scenes, the planning and everything for the day to come? And everything is in place. DJT Abrahamic court with many will be strengthened 1 year later. That is from October the 7th, this is 2023. And 1 year later, this accord with many will be strengthened. It's already in place. That of course happened in 2000, the beginning with 2020, September, just before elections. There was a purpose why it had to be done before the elections. Yes, Tom stated at one time, this accord will only work when he is president. I just can't find a video with that sentence, but he definitely said that. And I'm going to show you in this video step by step that the Abrahamic accord is the covenant with many. So sit back, don't switch the video off. Watch the full video because it's very important for you to go through the whole video. Okay, some may not agree, but you can agree to disagree. But here it goes. Yeah, let me put it there. It goes. The road to the peace treaty, and with strength he shall make a covenant with many for 1 week with strength. The word says he will confirm a covenant. They will confirm. What does confirm mean? Confirm means something that is already in place. The prophets of those days did not foresee another covenant 2,000 years later. Daniel mentioned this. But here it says, according to the prophecy in Daniel chapter 9, there will be a covenant, a treaty, which will be made with many, enabling Israel to once again access the temple site to begin rebuilding the altar and the offering, and offer up animal sacrifice and offerings. The red heifer is already in place. Last year, it was 2022, they transport these red three, I don't know how many red heifers, they were already transported to Israel, and this year, 2024, they will be ready, 2 to 3 years. That's perfectly in sight. So once a treaty goes into effect, there will be 7 years before the second coming of Jesus Christ. Of course, this peace treaty, the rapture occurs just before this peace treaty happens. We will not see the peace treaty, but they will have it ready. But you, brethren, are not in darkness, so that this day should overtake you as a thief in night. Look what Paul says. But ye, brethren, are not in darkness, so that this day, we can know this day, should overtake you as a thief. 1 Thessalonians 5 verse 4. The Most High God rules the kingdom of men and appoints over it whoever he chooses. Daniel 5 verse 21 says, but when the fullness of time has come, God sent forth his Son. So, from the beginning of the time, Daniel, God sent Gabriel with a message And in that message, we can establish the first coming of Jesus to the letter T. And you'll see it now as we come along, when it took place. So the decree of the rebuilding of Jerusalem happened 456 BC. And if you minus the north, it is 454, plus 28 gives you 483 years. That's when Jesus began his ministry, 28 BC, at the age of 30 years. At 28, if you count from 28 forward, then you come to 32 AD. Jesus didn't die on a cross at 30 AD. That is completely wrong. Jesus died on 32 AD, 14th of Nisan on Passover. And that was not on his death. The 483 years doesn't complete on his death. The 483 began on a Jubilee year. Remember, God operates in sevens. And Jesus commenced the end of that 7th year in 28 AD. And 28 to 29 AD happened to be the 80th Jubilee. And that completed the 483 years. It doesn't complete to the entry of Jerusalem. No, not at all. Cannot count in a prophetic years of you have to count it according to the lunar calendar, but the moon calendar does operate within the lunar calendar. But Israel also had to add every year. They had to add a month of 30 days to their calendar so that it can coincide with the lunar calendar. 69 weeks then have been completed, and that of course is Daniel 9:24 verse 27. Now you do have it exactly to the letter T that it happened. And there is 1 year, of course, left. So when does that 1 year take place? There's a pause of 2,000 years. Some call it a gap theory, but it's a pause button. It stopped right there. And 2,000 years later, with a period of grace, that 1 year of 7 years, 1 week of 7, which is 7 years. It's a week of 7 years. But you'll hear now that same week we currently God operates in sevens of 24 hours a day, 24 hours a day. But at last 7 will complete it in 16 hours a day. Okay, and that nobody took that into consideration, and that is why we are still here. If you take that into consideration, 28:9 plus 2,000, then a rapture should have been 2022. But Matthew 24 verse 22 come into place, and that is why we sit out that time now, because the last 7 years is actually only 5 years. 5 years in a period of 24 hours. Jesus shortened the days of 24 hours to 16 hours a day. I hope that is clear. So that is a 2,000 year gap. And as I said, the prophets did not know there will be a new covenant. There have been peace agreements, but the one with DJT, with Donald Trump, is completely different, and you will see that in a moment of time. Now, that is a 7 years between that gap. This is where the peace treaty will happen, and the rapture, of course, happened just before that peace treaty in the Middle East. We thought it would have been the 2021 when it started, but of course it didn't. Because they know precisely when it is. Anyway, then at the end of the 7 years will be the beginning of the millennial kingdom of peace. So that is your gap, and as I said, they did not know about that, but there were already peace processes in place. And of course, in 1993, the first peace process began with President Clinton. Why is it that only America have always been involved with its peace treaties? America is Mystery Babylon, people, and all a president, the kings come out of from royal kings out of Europe. It doesn't line up. They decided to go with Europe and not with Britain, and that was a decision. So America is mystery Babylon. It's a superpower, and America is the hammer of the world. And then a second one, of course, was 2023 with President Bush, and that now you'll see the difference. It was only between two parties, between Israel and Palestine. That was always the case. And then 2014, it was again with Israel and of course, as we call it, Palestine now, which is not actually Palestine. Palestine doesn't really exist, but let's call it Palestine. And of course, he will, and with strength he shall make a covenant with many. This is the difference between the previous peace agreements was just between the two parties, but this one was with many for 1 week, and it will come. So at present it started in 2020, but it will be confirmed and it will be strengthened a year later from the time the war starts in Israel. This war will last, and we've heard both Netanyahu mentioned that it will be for a year long. Even Hamas said that this war will be for a year. In normal circumstances, when they fought with one another, that war was just a short war, and it's over. And every time when there's a war close to Feast of Trumpets, we thought, now this is it. But this is the year. This is the real war, and it will end, of course, with Iran that will attack Israel. And of course, the difference, as I said, between Trump and the previous is that Trump's snowball effect on the Mideast peace, and the difference between them, you say, rather than labor. Let me just get this thing out of the way. He said, rather than labor for final and comprehensive agreement between Israel and the Palestinians in a swoop, U.S. President Donald Trump and Israel Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu decided to try a different tactic. The goal now appears to be getting as many Arabs and Muslim states to normalize relationship with Israel before the U.S. president election in November. That was all a well planned as such, Donald Trump could have won the second election, but there's a purpose, and I tell you right now, he said he must be president. I believe he will be reinstated as President of the United States. Listen to what I tell you. I'm not talking about 2025, the coming elections. He will be reinstated. Biden will probably be impeached, and he will start to rule then again, because he has to finish the Abrahamic Accord. Yeah. So that is what I strongly feel. And of course, and then the first agreement, then there was already a relationship between Egypt and Jordan. And then, of course, the second one is then, of course, Bahrain and the United Arabs. And then, of course, the rest follow the United Arabs, Oman, Saudi Arabia, Sudan, and Lebanon, and Syria is also ready. Even Kuwait, those are ready to step in agreement. And these people, what is in these Arab nations, that is the covenant with many that will come forth. And it's called a covenant with many nations. Why many nations? And why it has been called the Abrahamic Accord? Why? Because Abraham was the father of many nations. He was the father of many nations. He was the three religions came out of that was the Arabs, of course the Muslims, and the Christians and the Jews. That's to promote interfaith and intercultural dialogue to advance a culture of peace among the three Abrahamic religions and all humanity. And there you signed it, that was a signature, and this, of course, is September 2022. But this accord will be strengthened when Donald Trump do come back. This accord is Daniel 9 verse 27, people. This is the accord. Many, almost all watchmen dispute that and said, no, it cannot be, because this is already, the accord already fell flat. But the wording, read the wording properly, it says it will be strengthened. Read what confirm means, it will be strengthened. So the prophet didn't foresee another covenant, a new covenant in our days. But Daniel mentioned this, and he said that covenant will be strengthened. And it says, this is concerning Abram, your name shall be Abram, for I have made you a father of many nations. And that is exactly what Donald Trump's Abrahamic Accord is. It is with many nations. And here he says it's with many nations. And it's definitely in time to normalize the temple amount. The normalization is a buzzword of the moment. We are normalizing that had been abnormal for a long time. And after that, once that has been normalized, then the last 7 years will begin. And of course, the peace treaty will just happen then after that. This is where we are today, 2024. And I feel strongly that it will be during the 4 feasts. Why I say the 4 feasts, the midst of the week of blazing seas, and that if you count 1,160 Daniel's days backwards, then it will fall right into the 4 feasts on Feast of Tabernacles. So if the 6th seal happened, and it is the 6th seal, people, many people disagree with here. As I say, can agree to disagree. The 6th seal happened at the beginning of the 6th seal. There will be a great earthquake. We will all witness that great earthquake. And then soon after that, we will see Jesus in the sky and the trumpet will blow. So we need to pray ourselves. Jesus said, pray that we count worthy to escape these things. Pray for your protection during that time of the earthquake. There will be an earthquake. The sun will turn into darkness. The moon will turn into blood. Revelation 6 verse 12. And that is where then I feel it will happen at Feast of Trumpets. Feast of Trumpets, there's a prophecy that the God gave a prophecy to this lady. And I think I do have that video, that the rapture happens a day before. The day the Lord said to them, to her, they know, the evil ones know that he had to come the day before they are ready with the peace with that peace treaty. And that is what it says. So it will happen probably today. So if it is Feast of Trumpets with a sixth seal, there will not be enough time for them to do that peace treaty. And then it will take place 21 days later at Feast of Tabernacles on the 8th day. And that is where, if you do the counting from there, then it will end here on the fall feast, Feast of Tabernacles right there. 1,260 days is the midst thereof. So the first year, of course, is the 3.5 years. 3.5 years. It's been divided in 3 years and 3.5. So 7 years complete. Those 7 years is 7 years of 16 hours a day. The first year, of course, from 2024 to 2025 will still be on 24 hours. And then when the wormwood took place, and then that's where the days are being shortened from the 24 hours to 16 hours a day. I hope that is clear with you. If you miss it, just repeat the video again. And then the 7 seals, of course, is pre-wrath. No, most of you don't agree with me, but it is. That is our pre-tribulation. It's called pre-tribulation. The trumpets and the 7 bowls, it's God's wrath. There's no such a thing that the 7 trumpets is a tribulation and the 7 bowls is God's wrath. No. Both the angels, there's the horsemen riding upon the earth, and those horsemen ride from the Old Testament days already. It's not what you must do. What does a horseman do? It is false prophets, for Antichrist, all it is pestilence, it is war, and everything else. That is what it represents, and that is how you can read Matthew 24. That is our tribulation, things that we go, earthquakes here and there, and storms and stuff. That is what it is. So this is for that full 7 years. That is God's wrath. Now in the middle, that's where the peace treaty begins with DJT for 7 years. But in the middle, it will cease there, right in the middle, of course, in the middle of that. And you see in the next picture here, there you will see that that's the midst, and that is when the 2 witnesses will rule, and the Jewish Messiah, GJT, which is actually the biblical false prophet, and the 144 Israelites. Some says no, they preached during the 144 Israelites preached during the last 3.5. That is not true. And they also go up. They don't get raptured. They go up. Those 144 came from heaven. They come from heaven. Those 144 Israelites, 44,000, they are the babies that died during the time of Herod and Moses. That is where that 144,000 came from. Yeah, you men shall again come to the borders, and that is who they are. I'll include those videos for you there. And then this is what happened in the first half. And then in the middle, the midst of the week, the oblation ceases, the sacrifice ceases. Remember, the sacrifice is for 1,260 days, and if you count it backwards, it comes to 2024, 2024 feast, So then this second half, then Obama, the Antichrist rule, and the angels preach the gospel, and both the 7 trumpets and the 7 bowls, that is, God always operate in sevens, 7 years, as such. So those are God's wrath. And then we conclude that right there, and that is when this is all what I have to say. So share this video, people, with each and every one. And I thank those who support this ministry. I appreciate you, love you. I appreciate those who pray for this ministry. I pray for those who pray for my wife Barbara and pray for myself, pray for me as well. I thank you out of the bottom of my heart. So please do share this video and be encouraged. Jesus is coming. God bless.